if you're an integral leader and you're in integral startup mode, which the whole integral world is in, basically, because it's such a new thing, it's really good to have a few healthy second tier threes running around to
to get things done. They really get things done. Diane,
what's the emotion of a 3? The like gluttony for the 7.
Deceit.
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 Yeah, deception.
And so, thank you for asking that. Yeah. So the mental, and if I forget to do any of that on any of them, let me know. So the mental quality is tasks and goals. That's where attention goes. And the emotional quality is kind of the emotional arising is deceit. Because if I'm really authentic here, then I might not look like a star, I might not look like a winner. But most 3s that I talk to say that the deception is a self-deception, that I am what I do. And so that's the layer that's really, really painful. Is, and this 3 that I'm really close friends with is probably, in integral speak, probably Amber Christian. And so he just does not understand this. He said, Leslie, because I was going away for a 3-day silent retreat, why? It just doesn't understand, because God is out there in the doing. God is out there in the stuff we got to get done in this world.
The good works.
Yeah, and the good works. Yeah.
And so for a drug strategy, there could be 2 things. There could be an avoidance of depth, cocaine and different drugs that keep you going, and then alcohol and the more kind of deep sedative type drugs could be an unconscious desire for depth that they're not achieving in their own life. So when somebody's in recovery, that would be something we could really work with. The avoidance of death, or the unconscious desire for that they haven't been able to achieve.
And that's interesting
otherwise.
you say cocaine, because cocaine always struck me as kind of a 3-ish, 7 drug.
Oh yeah, the 80s maybe.
Just right. The 80s, and the 80s was such a 3. Yeah. And think of it, the 80s I felt like was just a 7-ish time of success and money and big stuff and lots of stuff, and it had a real 3-ish, 7 quality. And the 3s and 7s are look-alike types. They're both a narcissist. The 3, Helen Palmer says this, the narcissism of a 3, they suffer a little bit more because they're counting on you. They're counting on, the 7, if they don't get the mirror, we can just go up to the mind and imagine the mirror in the mind of when you all loved me. For the 3, there's just this incredible deflation if I'm not getting the mirror right from you. So it can be a little more painful. So does that...
That's brilliant.
So as I move along, if anybody wants to add, are there any 3s in here?
Any 3s that would like to admit it?
After the
we don't attract a lot of 3s around here.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I'm really excited when I have a 3 in any group where I'm teaching contemplative prayer. Because that to me says, and most of them have such a hard time, and a lot of them will say they need a ball or they need a cat on their lap, they need to be doing something. For a lot of them, just to sit on a chair with a bird on the windowsill, that there could be some sort of relationality or feeling like the birds are out there, or their pine tree. Just something where they can feel like there's a relationship. It's very challenging, particularly for 2s and 3s, it's been my experience to go inside. So I'll now shift to 2. This is also an image type, but the image is really, attention goes, where am I needed? And the 2 sees a world of needs. And what strikes me is when I go shopping with my daughter, and this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but we'll go and maybe to go get a dress for a dance or something like that. And her attention goes to what would look nice on me. And my attention goes to what would look nice on me. Because it's a self-referencing type. And so I have to watch that and observe it. It makes me really sad. Because I think of her as my daughter, wanting to be present to her. And I'm thinking of, boy, I like those shoes for me. So we walk out of there so many times. We would walk out of the store and she couldn't find a dress. But she knew what all of her friends would look good in. She's wonderful at choosing gifts, and she knows what they would all need. But when you say, Rach, what do you want? There can almost be a blank. So spiritual practice for a 2 is to just ask each day, what do I need? And it really moves me because clients come in and I'll give them an assignment. I'll give a 2 an assignment to get a massage. or to do something for themselves. And sometimes it'll take 3 appointments for them to do it. Or to just ask every morning, what do I need? Because if your attention goes to what do I need and others' needs are amplified, it's a practice to say, what do I need?
Sure. Whereas for a 7, the question might be, what do you need?
That's exactly it. For me, the spiritual practice is other referencing. You know, last time I saw Rochelle, she told me about her daughter. And I saw her something about her daughter that made me, so instead of walking in telling Rochelle about me, I do remember to ask Rochelle about Rochelle. So that's the spiritual practice. So for a 2, the areas of strength is just this natural empathic response. John, you know Rachel's friend, he got his he lent his bike to a homeless person. He's real greedy. And lent his bike to a homeless person. And he didn't bring it back. And Rachel could just feel it to her core. That he didn't bring it back, and it was just really, really. She was crying. That she felt so bad for her friend that whose bike was taken, and that's what I've noticed about 2 is they can feel it in here.
So what is the anxiety of the 2? What is the suffering?
That who am I if there are no needs out there? Who am I? What's inside of me? And so that when I go inside in meditation. Every 2 that I've ever worked with is afraid that there's no one home inside of me.
So the task or the being of service might be a way of avoiding that inner feeling of emptiness.
Yes.
So you're out there helping and doing good things in the world.
Yes, I have no needs, and so the energy is pride. You have needs and you have needs, but I don't have any needs, and there can be a prideful quality. And attention goes to selective, and this is the other piece that's really important, lest you think all 2s are Mother Teresa. Attention goes to select others. I can tell sometimes when I'm a 2 and I don't have or I'm with a 2, and I'm not a person of prestige in their eyes, and it's almost like I'm not there. So the attention goes to selective others. Now remember, there's the self-preservation instinct, the social instinct. So it might be for a 2. If you think of, did you ever read about Pamela Harriman? Okay, she was a Washington hostess, the quintessential Washington hostess, and she was married. Oh gosh, I can't remember her name. It was in the Reagan administration, a real kind of prestigious statesman. And another person. This is kind of a really, Rachel doesn't like when I bring her up, but Paula Abdul. You know, that's a real 2-ish quality. It's kind of blatant and a little magnified, but Paula Abdul would be a 2. So it's the addiction can come is if there's nobody home, and there are times we're by ourselves. The anxiety is, I mean, 2s and Rachel will describe that anxiety when I'm by myself, or if the relationship is lost.
So it's an effective temporary strategy to fill that sense of emptiness.
Yeah, if I'm looking always for you for a mirror, you're not going to mirror me every moment. And it's not the narcissistic kind of mirror. It's really more of, am I useful? Am I helpful? Am I a good person?
Do people appreciate it?
Do people appreciate me? And that's one of the things that I've noticed with 2s, that there's so much pain if I'm not appreciated in some way.
So what would be the direction of recovery or integration or health for the 2?
Well, now, the classic sign of the arrow would be for 2 to go to 4. My experience has been that with any type, they can take on the high side and low side of their arrows, but it tends to be if a 2 is a little bit less conscious, a 2 is going to go to 8, the anger is going to be big, they're going to get really controlling, trying to get their needs met through out there. The needs are met through out there, okay? So what I've noticed with a 2, if they're cold, they might say, Rochelle, can I get you a jacket? Okay, so the attention so automatically goes out there.